How's it going, everyone? It's me, World of Barrel here, and today I'm pretty excited because we're actually going to be going over the new reworked Eagle Fruit. When I say new, I do mean I'm like a week late to this, but that's okay because I actually recorded this kind of video a while ago, but I was sick and I didn't really notice how weird I sound in the recording until I actually finished everything. But now I'm feeling better, so I'm going to be going over the quote-unquote new Eagle Fruit. I did get the permanent version because why not? It's pretty tedious to go back and forth, and also I decided to get the chromatic skin for it because it looks cool. There are other skins, by the way, but I just thought, why not get this one? It looks pretty cool. But yeah, there's quite a few things that we should go over. First of all of the new skills, the new features, and also the upgrades. All of that I will be going over in today's video, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so here I am at Hydra Island. I don't really know why I chose this area here, but so first of all, there is something that you might notice, and it's that they got rid of the plumage ability, which was the Z ability. Definitely a nice addition or removal, depending on how you see it, because it was honestly completely pointless. You basically just poke wings on yourself so that you can use all the skills. It's kind of like what the Buddha fruit has, but it's a lot more useless because with the Buddha you actually transform, and there's actually like something that goes with it. But anyway, that's off topic. First you'll notice is that the Z ability is different, and that's because it actually got changed. Now this isn't a new ability, but this is what it looks like. You might remember that this was actually the X ability before the rework, but since the plumage ability is no longer there, now we have the wind burst, which got just replaced basically. So that was the first skill. This is the next skill. It's called the Feather Storm. Yeah, that's what that looks like. It's like AoE. It's actually pretty good damage. Here's the Bone Crusher. So it's not as good as the other abilities, but it's pretty good damage when it comes to single form attacks. And here's Soaring Talon, which is also AoE. So I don't know if you noticed there was like explosions, kind of like the Feather Storm. So it's actually pretty decent. Now, there's also something that was added with the M1 and the flight. So yes, we now actually have an M1 for this. It's a range attack. And actually it's like pretty good damage. It's not exactly spammable, but it's also like, it's pretty decent knockback, and I feel like there's some combo potential here as well. But also, I don't know if you were paying attention, but there's also a feather meter here, and every time that I use my M1, it goes down by a little bit. Now the reason why it's going down so little for me and might not be as slow for you is something that'll get into later, but for now let me just go over the last ability, which is the flight ability. So there's a few changes here. So now you don't actually have to hold it to fly, you can just press it and then boom, you're flying. There's also like kind of like omni movement almost, if any of you play Call of Duty. It's like almost omni movement kind of with the way that you move. It's pretty dynamic, I like it. But also the feather meter is also going down again, and it actually will go down pretty fast if you fly and use your M1. So I personally wouldn't recommend using the M1 unless you really need to do damage, because you'll pretty much run out of your feather meter super quickly. Now some pretty useful things about this, especially for beginners, is that this fruit has pretty low requirements. As you can see, level 35 mastery, level 80 mastery, level 110 mastery, and then you only have to go basically up to 150 mastery to unlock all of the skills. But it does not actually stop there, because there is additional content that was added to 2 different fruits as of right now. There will be one for the creation fruit, which was also reworked recently. So you may be asking, how do you get these new upgrades? Well, it's actually kind of a long process, and I'll show you why. So first, whoops. I should have mentioned that. Yeah, you can just you can basically charge your M1. I should have mentioned it before, but it's not anything significant. The damage increase isn't that huge. It's only about 250 more damage. The M1 itself isn't necessarily very strong, but nonetheless, it's a feature. We'll take it. It's for beginners anyway. But as I was saying, let's get into the actual upgrade content. So let's go straight into the mansion, and from there we are going to go to the sea castle. So let's go straight here. So we're at the sea castle now. Now if you go into the raid area here, you can actually talk to the mysterious scientist, and now instead of just having to talk about the raids to get the microchips, you can actually access the admin panel. Now the admin panel is how you actually get the upgrades. So I already have all of the upgrades, but here they are. Basically aerodynamic feathers. You just fly faster. It's pretty basic, honestly, but the way that you actually unlock this is, I believe you need 200 mastery on Eagle, and then you just... There's a battle going on there. I don't want to be a part of it. But basically, you just have to go up really high. I believe it's 2,000 studs into the air, and you just gotta fly around. It might take a bit of time, but it shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. But it's pretty worth, I would say, because you do fly a decent amount faster. So it's pretty useful. Now, the second upgrade is called the Fleck Capacitor. And what that does is it increases your feather meter, which is this is honestly probably the best and most useful upgrade for the fruit, because the feather meter drains, as I already mentioned before, really fast. And you honestly probably want that, because if you're doing sea events or anything like that and you're flying, and then you're using your M1, whatever, right now it's probably, you might think that this is pretty fast the way that it drains, but it'll be much faster. Can they take that somewhere else? Of all the places, out of here, get out. Let's get into the third upgrade. So the third upgrade is called Avian Propulsion. It's actually a pretty good upgrade as well. Not as useful as the feather meter upgrade, but it's still pretty decent, because I mean, you just fly a tad bit faster with it. Basically, if you fly and then let's see, and then you hold down the flight ability, you do a little dash. You don't have to hold down that long, but basically like a second or two, if you hold it down, you'll be able to dash like that. You can also use the soaring talent and bone crusher to give yourself some extra boosts while you're flying, and that's pretty useful, because I mean, in the third sea, even in the second sea, actually, this isn't necessarily a great transportation fruit, but if you're in the first sea, this will probably it'll take you 1 minute to go across the entire map, if not less. But yeah, those are all of the upgrades, as well as all the skills. You again need a pretty high mastery requirement for this. I believe for the first upgrade you need level 200 mastery, for the second one you need level 300 mastery, and for the last one you need level 400 mastery. So it will take you a bit of grinding to get there, but I'd say it's pretty worth, especially if you don't really have much to do. maybe you're already maxed out, it'll give you a little bit of time to upgrade it. If you take damage, while you're flying, of course, if you take damage, your feather meter just absolutely gets obliterated. So that's one more thing that I should mention. Yeah, you basically, if you get hit once by their new raid boss, your entire feather meter will go down. That's really bad because the whole point of this fruit is that you can fly, and that's kind of one thing that I hope that they change or at least nerf, because it's basically impossible to fly around while in combat. So yeah, that's pretty much all that needs to be said about the fruit. There are a couple new skins that you might want to try. They all look really cool. The developers really did a number on this. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to mention for now. Make sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully the next video will be something interesting. Anyway, I'll see you.